We could be looking at a catastrophic ice storm across the South. I don't use that word lightly. It took a lot for me to actually go, is this really worth saying? Absolutely, especially with the increasing chance of seeing some heavy snow and ice across the South and even into parts of the mid-Atlantic. We're going to look at that today, and the snow may not be catastrophic, but let me tell you, if you get more than an inch of ice, that's going to cause big problems. Guys, I've been on the road this week. Clearly, it's a big storm and it's worth an update, so please forgive the background. Normally, it looks a little better, but you're not here to look at this mug. You're here to talk about the weather anyway, and that's what we're doing today. Cold Arctic air mass diving south out of Canada all the way to the Rio Grande. Oh, I don't know if it gets all the way to the Rio Grande, all the way down to the Gulf Coast, to the very tip of Texas, but it's going to come darn close. And this is really cold air temperatures, some 30 to 40 degrees below average, with a strong Arctic air mass in place with moisture overrunning it, the chances of seeing ice and snow increasing. This far out, this is what I like to look at. This map is a look at the ensemble guidance. It's taking more than 50 members, and it's the percentage of seeing more than 6 inches of snow. Clearly, the sweet spot is starting to grow here across Arkansas and Oklahoma. But even up into Kansas and Missouri, you need to watch this into North Texas too, along the Red River. You're looking at about a 30 to 40% chance here, but look how these odds go up. More than 60 to almost 80% in some cases, and that risk also growing for some heavy snow further to the east into Tennessee and Kentucky. And of course, we are going to get some snow, nothing unusual back here into the Four Corner states as this moisture moves in. This map shows the odds of seeing more than 3 inches of snow. When I show you the operational runs, you'll see what I mean when I talk about we want to look at this ensemble guidance. The sweet spot still remains here. If you look at more than 6 inches of snow, check it out. More than 70 to 80% chance across a good part of Virginia into northern North Carolina into parts of the Delmarva. All right, in the mid-Atlantic. I think this might even jog a little bit further to the north. Some of the trends overnight said so on the operational run, but the 50 members still keeping that average here. Look at this. Odds of seeing more than a foot of snow, some places 40 to 50% chance. And the fact that it's even printing the idea that there could be more than 18 inches of snow on a couple of model runs from last night, also this morning's run. Very impressive indeed. Let's look at the snow totals that the Europeans spit out last night. Light snow falling today, tonight, into Wednesday across a lot of the northern plains, into the upper Midwest. Chicago, some light snow. Most of the heavier stuff looks to be across parts of Wisconsin into Michigan. As that lake effect picks up too, we're going to see some decent accumulation. And now the big boy comes into action with snow developing across the Four Corner states, and then that spreads east. This is the operational run. Okay, don't get it twisted. Again, I like to look at the ensemble guidance, which spreads it out across the more than 50 members, and that gives you a better picture. This map shows the odds of seeing more than 3 inches of snow, and when we go back to the European operational, I mean, this puts more than a foot of snow in some of these areas. So don't latch on to any particular model run that's an operational run. My thoughts are the odds are definitely growing today. So if you're new to the channel, come back, subscribe. Could be a dangerous situation because there's also a lot of ice potential. This would be, again, as I said, catastrophic if we get this much ice. If you're new to the channel and you think I'm hyping this up, ask the OGs. They've been here for a while. It's not my style. I worked in TV. I was a chief meteorologist years ago. Hyping things up doesn't do anything other than cause panic and get people to worry, but also underselling something that could be devastating is also a problem. Watch this. This would be a big problem for the power grid across Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, even Tennessee. The hope is that you get snow, right? At least your odds of losing power aren't as significant. Big snow showing up on the European overnight. This has all the weather geeks geeking out this morning. I'm one of those weather geeks. I get it. You look at a 20-inch snow into New York City and go, whoa, it's on. The latest run, and actually yesterday's run, would probably be a better gauge, almost nothing. So to tell you it's trending north, yeah, it definitely did trend north overnight and through the early morning runs. But again, this is what I want to look at, the ensemble guidance. Definitely trending further north today than yesterday, and heavier too. More to come on this big mess, and it could be a big mess at that. And we'll show you why all this is happening in just a second. We're showing you the totals first because that's what most people care about. What's the old saying? Don't show me how the sausage is made. When you look at these numbers, more than 2 inches of ice showing up, that's converting almost all this liquid into freezing rain. Not all of it will freeze, but the fact that it's showing this much ice, that right there, guys, catastrophic. Okay, to the power grid. That's a problem. Make sure you follow this week if you are in these areas for sure. Cold Arctic air spilling across the Great Lakes. Lake effect snow will be significant over the next 24 to 48 hours as we see a rush of Arctic air. This is a 1054 millibar high, guys, and it is strong, and it is going to push all the way into the south. It's going to push some of that cold air down also into the Carolinas, down along the eastern side of the mountains. Setting the stage up will be the high, setting right smack over Iowa as we get into Saturday morning. That's going to feed that cold air into this overrunning moisture, and that's what's causing this. You don't really see an organized area of low pressure. You do have this upper low across the southwest that will bring some moisture up off the Pacific. You're also going to have quite a bit of Gulf moisture here as well. That lift, that overrunning effect on top of this cold air, which is being reinforced at the surface, is what's going to cause this precipitation shield to break out. And it's also why it's so widespread. Once we get into Saturday, the European continues to show a major ice storm on the southern side of this band of snow. The further north you go into the cold air, you're looking at all snow. Now we reinforce the cold air on the east side of the mountains, pushing the chilly air all the way into North Georgia. And that could be cold enough with a decent amount of warming aloft for a big ice storm here into the upstate of South Carolina, North Georgia, into North Carolina. That would be crippling. Cold high pressure building into the central U.S. And here's the thing, even once we get rid of the snow and the ice, it's going to stay cold back across Oklahoma and Texas. The snow isn't going anywhere for a while. And that cold air builds also into the south behind this snow. There could actually be enough warm air that we transition. Let's hope this happens across parts of Mississippi and Alabama over to rain, giving things a chance to warm up enough to let some of that ice melt. Boy, the Carolinas look tough with this model run. And now we turn cold and we stay cold across this area. So the problem would be if power goes out, now it's cold. The good news is we warm up pretty quickly across Texas heading into next week after a cold weekend. By Tuesday and Wednesday, warmer temperatures across this region. It's staying cold here into the mid-Atlantic with this northwest flow. We didn't talk much about the west because there's not a lot going on out here. Now, there's going to be some rain into Southern California with this upper low, and of course, some snow into the Four Corners state that's associated with this system that's moving east. And some of that could be heavy into the mountains of Colorado, which, by the way, has had an incredibly snowless winter. Colder air also moving into the northern Rockies with this setup. Certainly not unbelievably cold, but across the west coast immediately right along the Oregon coast into California, above average. And then again, what happens next week? Does this thing try to develop something into the Northeast? Maybe. The GFS, by the way, which yesterday was showing a different solution. Today, I'm going to say it's caved to the mighty European. Snow in the short term, we'll go through this pretty quickly. Some light amounts across the northern plains, into the prairies up here, into Saskatchewan, diving south and east across the Great Lakes region. Some snow overnight into Wednesday. Could put down a couple of inches from Iowa, southern parts of Wisconsin into Michigan, and then into Ontario, a couple of inches here, but that snow could really add up downwind of the Great Lakes in the order of close to a foot of snow in some areas. And then the blended model data, the fact that it's starting to show this, and I said this yesterday, that you don't want to look at this data too far out, but the blended data is starting to grow confidence into this region for more than a foot of snow. Think Lynchburg, Richmond, Delmarva. Across the west and very snowless over the next couple of days. Save the southwest, though. We're going to get a little bit of snow here into the mountains. Temperatures across the west today, pretty mild for this time of year. Across the central states, pretty warm too, compared to where we're going. Let me show you that cold as we head into the weekend, pushing all the way into Texas. I mean, even Houston getting down near freezing as we get into Saturday and Sunday. And then to the east, there's your temperatures this afternoon. Heading into tomorrow, relatively warm, but here comes the cold. Let's push it forward. Look at these temperatures, 30 below. Man, that's cold up across Wisconsin. Cold days are ahead, my friend. Be prepared now. More updates coming. See ya.